About the financial literacy, we've done series of these topics, beginning with the understanding personal finances, understanding management of your resources, understanding service. Because at the end of the day, we said uh, financial literacy is all about getting the knowledge, the skills,
Yes.
and the whole issue of the awareness that you have, the whole aspect of how you can be able to manage your finances well,
Yes.
so that you have the confidence of it, you have the knowledge about it, you have the skills. But in most cases, we've actually squandered a majority of our finances. We've squandered a lot of things.
Yes.
Every time somebody says they are broke, they have ever held some money. And that's where we were talking about now. Okay, if we are having this money,
It is already there. Yes.
it is there. How do we manage it so that we have better reward for it, so that we have better, it helps us to deal with the basic needs. But then we don't take care of our basic needs. Instead, we have wants. So that's why the other day I was saying that in most cases we don't have budgets, but we have shopping lists.
Shopping list instead of, and
Instead
we
of
call
budget.
those ones confident.
So, and then
budgets.
at the end of the day, things fall apart. And then I said that I'm doing this on both levels, as a counselor, but at the same time as somebody who has lived through this. After having worked for over 10 years, you have nothing in your name. All you have is debts and loans. And then everything is falling apart. And then we're like, oh, something has to change. So it all begins with that mindset that actually I need to change my life. I need to change my finances
For the better.
for the better. I need to. My family needs to live better. Yesterday, I had a time to interact with head teachers of the primary schools in Arua City here. We were talking about how to improve performance of our schools. And then we realized that actually majority of our problems, especially on the teaching staff, is money related. A stressed staff will not be able to perform the way he should.
Definitely.
Not only staff or teachers, but everywhere. Everybody needs some money to be able to operate, to be able to do what they are called to do. But then when somebody is broke, they don't have the money, they don't have issues, then things fall apart. And then we're like,
Thinking
okay.
beyond what they're supposed to be doing.
Exactly. Then that's where we're like, okay, what best can be done? We need to understand family finances, because it begins with the family. You also know that in most families, even the man doesn't know how much the wife earns. The wife doesn't know how much the man earns. Everybody is looking on, working on a guesswork. There's a lot of mistrust. The man doesn't trust the woman doesn't trust the man. The man keeps his money in the socks. The man keeps his wallet away from the woman. Even when he's going to the bathroom, he carries it
Almost everywhere.
everywhere you go. But then at the end of the day, because there is no family coming together, because family is not involved, family is not planning anything together, things go out of hand. That's why we are saying, hey, look here, we can actually make West Nile better, we can make Arua better, our families can really be good, because God wants that family to be good. That's why if you check my book here, Broke by Choice, chapter 1 is God is a plan for our finances. It is God is a plan. God plans that we shall have a good life. God knows. That's why even in creation, when God was creating man, God took care of the man's finances.
Okay.
God made sure Adam had everything he needed. There was gold, because when you sell gold, definitely you will be able to earn money. So, but at the end of the day, what do we have? We have nothing. God's idea that we should be having a good life is not there. Instead of having abundance, we are living in a crisis. Instead of living an abundant life, we are living on leftovers. We are starving instead of having to live life that is full. But things are not.
And you starve after earning.
Exactly. That's why right now today is the 11th of June. But I can tell you, most salary earners right now, they don't have any money on them. Why? The money only pays bills. The money only takes. Actually, right now people are working. Those who are only depending on salary. Their salary only takes care of their transport movements around. They're working for the boda men or the taxi drivers.
Communication.
They're working for communication. They're working for their landlords to be able to pay rent. They are working on to be able to eat food. They are working to be able to treat themselves. But then at the end of the day, nothing. That's why when somebody loses their job now, they end up with a mental illness.
Okay.
Why? because they cannot take care of their basic needs. So that's where we're having a crisis. Then we're like, no, how do we come in? First of all, the church has the mandate. The church is actually now the hope of the world. Now, how can the church come in to support? How can the church come in to be able to restore people? How can church come in to be able to help? How can the counseling department come in to be able to offer help? Because on weekly basis we get overwhelming phone calls, overwhelming numbers. But they're like, okay, I think we can address most of these issues on the air, so that we can have the huge numbers of West Nile. We are over 3 million people in West Nile here, so that people can be helped. So that's why we looked at how do we go. We need to deal with the savings. The problem with us in West Nile is in our savings, we don't actually have savings plan. And even if we were to save, we save without a plan. The only savings group I know that saves very well is the women's group, but they only save for Christmas to be able to buy meat, a bull, and then celebrate Christmas. Eat the money on Christmas, eat the leftover on New Year, begin again.
After 1 week, back to square one.
But then we're asking ourselves, we need to save with a plan. How can we be able to save so that we're able to improve our lifestyle? How can we save? And then also, where do we save? Because if you save under the can, under your bed, under wherever, people can steal it, it can get lost, it can be eaten by rats, it can be eaten by people, people can use it, even you yourself.
Your hands will always want to be there.
You will always pick it. So we're saying, no, look here, you can actually have a better savings plan. You get a better savings plan, you need to begin to have deliberate intentions. And then as you are doing this, think in terms of investment. Because when you think about investment, you're able to make your money grow. So that this money grows. From 10,000, it can grow to 20 or 15, depending. The problem also I said that time was, when we look at it in terms of investments, we don't see our profits as profits, but we see our profits as food. That's why when you go to the market here and try to bargain, somebody will tell you, "Inya duniari lo." It is all about food. The food. So, but it's not seen as a way of growing this. And then in most cases also, because we see others are eating their rewards, for us we eat our capital. You see your neighbors bought chicken and is cooking chicken on their profit. And then for you pick the money which is meant for capital to go and also buy chicken or meat. So at the end of the day, you see, things are not moving the way they're supposed to move. We also looked at where do we invest well, and how do we best invest. Investment can be in short term, long term, medium term. How do you best invest? Also, I say that I'm one of the worst investors previously. Why? Based on experience. I went into projects that I don't even understand. I went into fish cage farming. After putting $1 million shillings in that project, up to tomorrow, there's no, there is no reward. I didn't get anything out of it. And then also looking at when I did farming on phone. When I reached the farm, there was only bush. I learned an investment principle that the best fertilizer for any farmer is the farmer's gumboot. That means your presence must always be felt for you to be able to realize the desired things that you want to see. And then also we talked about loans. I shared in this particular book here about the loans because I had 7-figure debts. When I say 7-figure, then you can begin to count how many millions that we are talking about. And because of that loan, which I invested in something that was not even giving me returns. Because when you actually borrow loans, you should be able to put it in a project that can give you money where this money can be able to repay itself. But instead it was the opposite. But I learned the hard way. 3.5 years. The salary comes, you don't touch it, because all of the salary is taken to cover the loan for 3.5 years. Yet you are a married man, a man with the beards.
The home needs your care and everything needs
you have not been able to pay rent, you have not been able to, but you are working. People see you every day working.
You leave home going for work. You tell people you're going for work.
And you must be smart.
Yeah, you cover that with smartness.
So at the end of the day, life was a mess. So I've lived this experience myself. So I now understood what it means. And the problem is many money lenders now use that advantage of civil servants or anybody who has salary to come to the bank and say, oh, no, I can give you, even in 15 minutes, I can give you loan. Even in 20 minutes, I can give you loan. But then at the end of the day, man, you sweat. Because one thing that people don't understand, which I have put here, that most of these financial institutions will not like, is the whole idea of the cost of the money people actually put in. When you borrow money, you know the following, which I learned also from experience. If you borrow 1 million, if you want 1 million, go to any bank. You want 1 million shillings.
1 million.
You will apply for 1 million shillings, but they will give you 900,000 or 910, 920. The rest, they will chop it.
Caters for other things.
Caters for insurance, application form, appraisal, whatever cost that is there. Now, but when you're paying this loan, you're paying it on 1 million, but they gave you less.
Yeah.
Now, when you also look at the interest you're going to pay, is going to be at least half or more than half of what you have borrowed. So when you add all that, you actually realize that you are paying a lot of money. Number two, if you say now the bank's done like that, so let me go for the money lender, it is even worse. Because with the money lender, you are going to be paying either 10% or 20%. There are those who charge per week, there are those who charge per month. Meaning what? If you borrowed 1 million and you are paying it at interest of 10%, and then they have given you a year to pay this money on interest of 10%. That means interest alone for this loan in a year is going to be 1.2 million. Interest. You borrowed how much?
1 million.
1 million. So you are paying extra 1.2 million. That means in all you are going to pay 2.2. That is if it is on 10%. If they give it to you on 20%, that means you are going to pay 2.4 on interest plus the 1 million. That is going to be 3.4. Something that people don't actually understand.
True. And nobody explains that.
Nobody explains you that, because go to any financial institution, they will tell you sign here, sign here, sign here, and you don't read what you're signing. So at the end of the day, I learned it hard way. It is even in this story here. Borrowed 1 million, paid 3. So I learned hard way. That's why in most cases when you're going to borrow, the chances are there are so many costs that are involved that people don't even understand. But that does not stop you from going to borrow money if the reason is okay. Because if you're going to get this money to be able to invest, and then you're able to get the good investment. Because the problem also is we get money, we get a loan, go and
for a specific purpose.
No, even if it is for the specific purpose, there is a chance where, for example, you can borrow money. You borrow this money to go and build a residential home. After building this home, yes, then there is no income that is going to come to repay back the loan. That's how many people have actually lost their houses.
After that, the name of the house changes to bank property.
You say bank property. Why? Because the investment did not go into something that is able to generate income. So that's where many of us are. And the people who understand finances very well, they are taking advantage of those who don't know, so that they take advantage of the ignorance. So that people are manipulated, people are cheated. I also know a guy who borrowed 4 million. And then they told him, no, it's okay, 4 million, we're going to give you 20% interest on the 4 million per month. And the guy's salary is 1 million.
How do you guarantee yourself in that kind
so
of
the guy said, it's okay, I'm going to do this, and then I will survive on my what? On my 200. But then he left the ATM with the money lender. Now, 2 years down the road, every month the money lender picks 800,000 because 800,000 is the 20% of 4 million, which is the interest. So the man was only picking interest. Every month he was only removing interest. So in 2 years' time, the guy had picked more money. But then the money lender was still telling him that he has not paid his what?
Loan.
His loan. Because he was only picking what?
Interest.
So the man came to me, and then he came to us, and then we were able to engage. And then what did we do? We advised him to seek for legal action.
Redress.
Yeah. So the guy goes to police, records the statement. So they go to court. Then they ask the young man, okay, how many times have you withdrawn money from this guy's account? 2 years. 2 years, 800,000 per month. In a year, how much have you collected? So how do you tell him that for the 2 years you have collected even more than 20 million from this poor man? And then you are still demanding that he has already paid you 4 million. Are you crazy? So somehow people talk to him from that angle. So the guy had to wave off. But after this young man had suffered.
Yeah, true.
So how many people actually right now are suffering?
So many.
In that even the ATM is not with them. The ATM is with the lenders. You know. So at the end of the day, people are cheated. People are being cheated. And that's why we are trying to say, hey, you know what? You can actually be helped. How do you be helped? Yes, understand, get the information, get the knowledge. Be aware of how these things happen. Now, talking about also loans. Loans are very good, like I said, if you invest it in the right programs, if you invest them in the right thing. There's also a tendency that you have a very good idea, which is going to generate for you income. You get the money, you divert it.
The moment the money lands on your hand, other things come in your head.
For us here, West Nile, when a man gets more money, that means more women, which is actually a challenge.
Yeah, that is the reality.
Now you find somebody who is in a diofe. When he gets money, he begins to go to drink from maybe Odia, or begins to go and drink from Oreko side. You change the location.
Add distance because now the money is
because the money is there. You know, at the end of the day, but when you look at it, you have squandered all the money. I was talking with one young man who has been an alcoholic for over 20 years, and he said he has only been taking only 2. At least now he has reduced to 2 bottles, but he has taken for over 20 years. I said, okay, fine. So let's go with the basic 2 bottles per day, or average. A bottle is 35. That is 7,000. 7 times 7,000 times 7 in a week.
Yeah.
Times a month. Times a year. And then times
the number of years.
In a year, it is actually 2,100,000 in a year. That is basic without the big days. Then when you multiply by 20 years, the guy just held his head and said, why am I still alive?
So.
He was even more depressed. I said, no, you don't have to be more depressed. The point here is now, you have realized, how do we jump from here? So
can't you do without it?
As I speak now, the guy is off alcohol. Just that mayor, and then like, if you invested this money, where will you be now?
Yeah, you would have moved ahead.
You will have moved ahead. Check your friends, where are they? In fact, why you are depressed is because of your friends have left you behind. But why they have left you behind is because of your poor financial management issues.
Yeah.
So that's where we're talking about loans. Then talking about also retirement. Whether we like it or yes, time is going to come, you're going to stop doing what you're doing because age is going to catch up with you.
True.
You will stop doing what you're doing. You must be forced, even if you don't want, you must be forced to retire.
To leave it.
In Uganda, retirement is at 60 years. That's why some people still refuse to retire. They keep changing their years. They try. And then even there are those who have really retired, but then they have also refused to go home.
They keep hanging around.
They keep hanging around, looking for a job. They keep coming up that, okay, just create for me some space here, I will keep coming around. As a consultant. Or I can still have a contract. Give me a contract. Let me keep working. Why? You have not planned for your retirement. Right now, whether you like it or yes, time is going to come when you stop doing what you're doing. If you're a teacher, you will stop teaching. If you're a nurse, you will stop treating people. If you're a doctor, you will also retire. You will stop. Whatever you have been doing, you will retire. You will retire. The point is, when you retire or after retirement, what next?
What is ahead of you that you have put for yourself?
Are you going to be cursing your children because your children have not been able to support you in your old age, yet you didn't plan for yourself? You know, there are things that God is calling us to understand. I like the program God is calling. Everybody who is working right now, you are employed, whether formally or informally. There is going to come a time when you don't have anything. It is only you and yourself. The point is, when you're at that point, where will you be? Where is your fallback position? Have you been able to save for yourself? Have you been able to invest for yourself? If you're a teacher, for example, now you are remaining with the 5 years, what is the plan? Do you have investments that in your old age, even with your weakness, you can handle? Because chances are you can actually be in a place where you say, no, my children are there. My children have their own baggages, children have their own problems as well.
Yeah, with
so
time, of course, they have their own responsibilities also.
they have their own responsibilities. So there's where they will support you when they can. You know, they can support you when they can, but when they cannot, forget it. It is impossible. But how have you prepared for that time? Because time is going to come when you begin to cast your children. But I can stand here and say, even in the holy books, even in the scriptures, in the Bible, if you read your Bible very well, there is this scripture that I even quoted it here. In terms of investment, what in terms of retirement, I mean, 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verses 14. It is clear parents are supposed to save for their children. Parents prepare to save so that, because if they're still there, said a good man leaves inheritance for the children's children. Now that means what? You are leaving inheritance for your grandchildren. In fact, your great grandchildren. But how have you prepared to save? Have you saved? If it is food, how much food have you saved? If it is about money, how much have you saved? Instead, here in West Nile, we leave bills instead of will. Somebody dies and is leaving a bill that, please pay for me this bill, pay for me that bill, pay for me this bill.
And that's always a problem everywhere.
It is. So that's where we're like, no, you know what? We need to prepare family finances. If we are to revive families, if we are to live good lives, if families are to be united again, we must get to a place where we work on our family finances as a family, as a team, so that we're able to improve. If it means investments, we invest wisely. Don't invest like the way I invested earlier on, because it turned out to be the school fees that I paid to come on this radio today. Yes.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Listener, in case you have just tuned in, you're listening to Radio Pacis. This is the program God is Calling on Radio Pacis 94.5 FM. Peace of Christ for all. It comes your way every Sunday, 3 to 4 p.m. And in the studios, my name is